Hi colleagues, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I wanted to go over this Coaching with Care cycle assignment beyond the written assignment so that you could have some additional details. So you're going to be reading about a framework for coaching called Coaching with Care. And even though this book is written to think about pre-service teachers or teacher candidates, this model of coaching has been used with literacy coaches and practicing teachers. So it was just the audience of the book that it was written for, and thinking about cooperating teachers or SBTEs in mind. So that's why it says pre-service teachers, but it is 100% applicable to working with any of your colleagues. If you go on to become a literacy coach or instructional coach in any subject area, you can certainly use this model for coaching. So with this assignment, you are going to find someone to observe. It should be in a literacy-focused lesson. So you might be thinking it might be kind of hard to get into someone's language arts block or their English language arts classroom. And that's okay, because I think when we can make the argument that literacy is in every subject area, especially if you think about literacy in the ways when we create and make meaning and communicate with one another. So basically you can engage in the observation of another content area. We'll just be keeping literacy in mind. So you'll arrange with a teacher to go in and do 2 observations. And in those 2 cycles, you will also start with a pre-conference and end with a post-conference. And then you'll do that cycle twice. So at this point, when you begin these observations, you'll have already read about the Coaching with Care model. So you'll have a better idea of what that entails. But to give you that overview, you have the pre-conference, quick 5-minute meeting where you briefly meet, and you will record that conversation and just set the stage for the observation, thinking about the lens in which you'll be observing the teacher. And then you will go in to do the observation shortly after that. You don't need to record the observation, but you will want to take some notes, whether they're handwritten or typed out. And when we meet next week, we'll talk about some ways that you can go about that, and I'll have some templates with you to share. And then you'll do about 24 hours later, the post-conference, where you facilitate reflective conversation, and you will record that post-conference as well. You'll do that whole cycle again with about a week or so between cycle 1 and cycle 2. Depending on the circumstances, these pre and post conferences can be done face-to-face or virtually, just depending on how things are going with our COVID situation and your particular situation. So if we need to move those conferences to virtual, that is completely fine. So you will do your first care cycle, that pre-conversation, observation, and post-conference by March 1st, which you can see there. Then you'll do that second cycle again, which is due on March 8th. And then you'll do an overall reflection on the whole process, having tried out coaching and envisioning that future work that the teacher might do. And that will be due also on March 8th. So you'll notice here some details about the process for each cycle written out for you. So you can read that in more detail to get an idea. And like I mentioned, you are going to be recording your pre-conference as well as your post-conference. And so I do highly suggest that you, whatever device that you use, whether it's your phone, a tablet, iPad, laptop, that you do practice just filming to make sure that you don't have any technology glitches for the real pre and post conference. And so just make sure you're comfortable with that process of recording as well. Down below, we have some ideas here of what to submit for each coaching cycles. It's got the details there, how to prepare your videos, as well as how to upload them. So you've got some details there to help you along the way. And so something else that I want to touch on as you're going through with your post-conference, something that you'll want to do is make sure that you focus on the children. So remember that we are kid watching, and we're watching for those student production behaviors. And so the students are telling us how things are going during the lesson. And so you will just be another set of eyes to do that kid watching. And you can be an observer of the students. And, during that pre-conference, you can decide on what type of data you'd like to collect as you do that kid watching. When you do your observation and you're taking notes, like I said, you don't have to record the observation, but you'll be typing or handwriting notes. You'll want to make sure that you are extremely detailed in your notes. We want to know what the kids said, what the teacher said, the environment, what was going on during the lesson. And we'll talk about this a bit more, and you'll see as you go through the modules, there are some ways that we do record. We keep our own opinions out of it, and it's very factual based. And so I'll have some examples in the modules for you there as well, so that you have some ideas of what to record. And then we want it to be extremely detailed. When I read the notes, I should be able to tell exactly what was happening in the classroom at that time. And then you'll want to refer to those notes during your post-conference so that you can remember all of those important things that you noticed. You might notice some things that you have wonderings about or things that puzzled you. And so those might be opportunities to bring up as you and the teacher reflect together. So let's see if there's anything else I want to make sure to cover. We are doing this cycle twice, and that's just because the first time, we tend to be a bit more nervous. And so, and even sometimes after the post-conference, you'll be reflecting and think, oh gosh, I wish I had said this, or I wish that I had worded it this way. And so when you go through that whole cycle again, the pre-conference, observation, and post-conference, you'll have that second opportunity to grow even more as a coach. And so that's why we're doing it twice. At the end of the assignment sheet, you'll also notice that there are some technology details for both PC and Mac. And so feel free to read through these directions if that's something that would be useful to you. And I will also link on here who to contact if you're having some technology needs and need some support with that. And our people at Brockport will be able to support you with that. So I'm really looking forward to this important work you're about to take on. And I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to listen in on your coaching conversations and learn from you. And so when we meet on February 16th, we'll talk in more detail about how to facilitate these coaching conversations through powerful questioning. So please take care, continue to reach out. I'm here to support you. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks for listening in.